Eagles hope to make it a perfect 10-0 all-time against the New York Jets when they face Gangrene in Week 3 of the 2015 season. And to look ahead at that matchup, we go behind enemy lines with Rich Cimini, who covers the New York Jets for ESPN. Now, Rich, the first thing I want to ask you is, how different is the atmosphere up there in North Jersey now that Todd Bowles is the head coach and not Rex Ryan?
It's one end of the spectrum to the other. As you could imagine, everybody knows what kind of character Rex Ryan is. Just kind of a bombastic guy, you know, free speech for the players. You know, they had that swagger permeated the entire facility. But now Bowles is a man of few words. He doesn't make bold predictions. He's not going to guarantee a Super Bowl. And the players have kind of followed suit with that button-down approach. So it is a dramatically different culture.
It makes your job a little bit tougher, I would imagine, Rich.
Yeah, I kind of liked it the old way, just from a journalistic standpoint. It was a lot of great sound bites and tremendous fodder. But but the Jets are always interesting. They have actually a pretty interesting cast of characters on this team. So I think more of the stories will be coming from the locker room, whereas in the past, most of it came from Rex's press conferences.
Rich, getting back to the action on the field, Sheldon Richardson, one of the league's best defensive linemen, was suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season, so he will miss this matchup. How does that impact the Jets' run defense when they're going to see a Chip Kelly team that loves to run the football and has 3 Pro Bowl running backs when you look at DeMarco Murray, Ryan Matthews, and Darren Sproles?
Yeah, that's how you would expect Chip to attack the Jets. Sheldon is a very good defensive lineman. And unlike a lot of other D linemen, he prides himself on being a two-way player, not just a guy who accumulates sacks, but a guy who does play the run. And so they will miss that element in their defense. I still think there'll be a good run defense without him. Good defensive line, and I think probably the guy who's going to replace Sheldon is Leonard Williams, who was the 6th pick in the draft, and, a young, just turned 21, but has a ton of talent. So he'll be green, but I think he's got a lot of talent, and they have some veteran guys on the bench, and they'll rotate guys in. So I think they're still going to have a pretty decent run defense, but it's not going to be what it would have been with Sheldon in there.
Rich, let's go to the quarterback position. It's always a hot topic here in Philadelphia, and certainly all eyes are on the quarterback position with the Jets as well. Who do you think will be under center come Week 1?
I think it'll be Geno Smith, and I think when the Jets play the Eagles, it'll still be Geno Smith. Geno's going to be with the first team when they practice for the first time, and he's going to get the majority of the reps. Todd Bowles has said that on a number of occasions. So really, what would have to happen Geno would just have to have an awful preseason. I mean, he would really have to stink it up for the first 2 games, opening the door for Ryan Fitzpatrick. The team, Geno has a higher ceiling, I think, in the eyes of the organization, and they want to see this through. This is Geno's last shot. I mean, let's face it, he's had 2 years. This is going to be his last shot. If he doesn't, solidify the position this year, then they'll move on to someone else. So I think it'll be Geno in Week 1 and probably still in there when they play the Eagles.
Rich, do you think there's anything that Chan Gailey, the new offensive coordinator who came in with Bowles, can do anything to maximize Smith's talent, to try to take advantage of that upside?
Yeah, what I think Chan's going to try to do, and it's easier said than done, I think, they're going to run a spread offense. They're going to spread it out, a lot of wide receivers, and they're going to have Geno and shotgun a lot. But he was last year, too, in Marty Morningweg's system. But I think the idea, what Chan wants to do, is just try to, quick drops, quick release, get the ball out quickly. They want to kind of minimize Geno's having to read the defense. I think Geno probably doesn't process information quickly in terms of reading coverage, so they want to try to simplify that as much as possible and get the ball out quickly. It all sounds good on paper, when they talk about it, but actually doing it is another thing, so I'm curious to see how that works out.
Rich, do you think that they realize they're probably not going to get elite-level quarterback play from that position, so they went out there and traded for Brandon Marshall? They drafted Devin Smith in the 2nd round. They signed Stephen Ridley. Do you think that the front office realized that and said, we got to get as many pieces around Geno to try to make him successful, to try to get something out of him?
Yeah, no question. I mean, the Jets know they're not going to have an elite quarterback this year or next year. I mean, that's the hand they're working with right now. So, I think Brandon Marshall will help. He's, supposedly in great shape. He's 31. I don't know if he'll be the player he was a couple of years ago, but I still think he's an improvement of what they had. So now you're talking about a pretty decent receiving core with Marshall and Eric Decker. You mentioned Devin Smith coming along. They still have Jeremy Curley. So this is probably their best supporting cast for a quarterback since 2010. And so it'll help Geno. Will it turn him into a top 10 quarterback? No, that's not going to happen. I don't think that'll ever happen. But it gives defenses something to think about, that's for sure.
Rich Cimini, he covers the New York Jets for ESPN. Rich, thank you very much for taking us behind enemy lines here on PhiladelphiaEagles.com.